Hello, I'm Landon Schlungen, and today we're going to be making a drum machine from FreeCodeCamp. And we have to make a drum machine that is functionally similar to this one right here, this code pen, where we can tap on these and they make a nice sound. If I turn up my volume, okay, that might be a little too loud, but they make a sound when you click them, or if you do the keypad. So right now I'm doing the keypad, and it still plays them. And then here's a volume slider as well, so you can do less volume or more volume. And so yeah, this is kind of what we're going to be building today. So to get started, we want to open up Visual Studio Code. So get that open. I'm going to resize this right here. And then we want to make sure that we're open in the drum machine folder. Just make a folder, name it drum machine, open it up in Visual Studio Code, and then we should be good to go. Let's start rolling. We're going to be building this with React and Bootstrap. So we want to start off with our index.html file. And like the two videos I did before this one, we are going to grab the React CDNs and the Bootstrap CDN to get started. So first do the exclamation point and then change the title to drum machine. And then in the head tag, we need to get our React links, React CDN links. Grab these two right here, copy them over, save it. So now we have React. Now we need to grab Babel. Babel CDN, go to setup Babel, go to in the browser and grab the script tag right here. Copy that over, put it underneath the React ones. And then inside of our body, we're going to write our script tag. And this is going to have type equaling text / Babel, so that React will work inside of it. And then instead of writing JavaScript directly in this script tag, we're going to make a separate file for that. And our source is going to link to that. So we're going to do ./index.js, which we haven't made yet, but we will. And here we go, index.js. We make it, and then we can do our functional component. So we'll do function app, and then we will return a div that says hello world. And then how do we actually get this app to render onto our HTML? Well, we need to link it up with an ID. So we'll go div with an ID of root, and then we have to connect these up by doing react dom.render, and then we put it in our app right here, the app tag, and then we put in document.getElementById, and we grab our root. So this document.getElementById gets this div right here, and then this react dom.render method puts this app, whatever is returned from it, it puts it directly into that div, and now it should be working. And we can see if it's working by right-clicking on it and opening it up with live server. To get the live server, it's just an extension for Visual Studio Code, so just look up live server, and it's by Ritwick Day, and install that, and then you should be able to right-click on it and open it up with live server. And here we go, we got hello world. So it looks like our React is working correctly. Now we want to go grab Bootstrap. We're going to grab Bootstrap, and we're grabbing the Bootstrap CDN that's from StackPath. So go into Bootstrap CDN, the one by StackPath, and we will copy the CSS one, CSS link. So click to copy that. Should be copied now. And then it's going to be a link tag. So we'll go link. And then the href is, okay, I don't think it copied. Oh, here we go, it's this one. Okay, whatever, I'll just copy it, paste it in here, save it. And to see if Bootstrap is working now, I'm just going to add a class name of text center on this. And our text should be in the center now, yep, which it is. So that's working correctly. That's great. Now that we have all of our CDNs that we need, Bootstrap and React, we don't have to touch this HTML file anymore, and we will just be working in the JavaScript file. First thing we want to do is we want to grab our actual audio clips that we need. And I didn't really know where to find any audio clips besides the ones that they had. So I basically just went in here and I changed the view to editor's view, and I basically just copied their whole bank one. So just copy the bank one so that we can use these URLs for the audio. So I copied that, and I'm just gonna paste it here as audio clips. So const audio clips equals this array. And then I do kind of want to change up the letters, but at the same time, not really. I mean, you can. You just have to make sure you change the key code and the key trigger. So say I wanted to change this A to an R. We can just do R, and then R's key code is 82. So we just put 82 here. And then now it would work for R. But I'll just keep it what it was, 65 and A. And now that we have that, we are going to start making our pad. So the outside div is going to have a class of background info. So BG info will make it like a bluish color in the background. and it'll have a min view height of 100, and it will also have text of white. And save that, and we should get some nice formatting here. Yep. And then we'll have a div of class text center, and then inside our div of class text center, we're going to have an h2 that just says drum machine as like a title, and then we're going to map through our audio clips here. So brackets to indicate JavaScript, and we'll go audio clips dot map, and we'll map each clip. And what do we want from that? We're going to make a new component called pad, and we're going to pass in the clip. So we'll pass in the clip equals clip, and to make the new component called pad, we'll just go underneath and do function pad, and it will take in our clip. We use object destructuring here with the brackets to grab it. Otherwise, it would just be props here. And then we want to return stuff from this as well, mostly an audio. This pad is also going to have a key of the clip.id, and it's also going to have volume and recording as well, but we'll get to that later. Right now, we just want to make sure we can click a button and it makes a sound. So down in our pad, we want to return our buttons, but we won't actually call them buttons. We'll just call them divs. We'll just do div, and it will have a class name of button and button secondary. It will also have a padding of 4 and a margin of 3. So there we go. We got all of our classes on there in one fall swoop. And then inside of this, we'll have an audio tag, which is self-closing, and it's going to have an ID equal to the clip.keyTrigger. So the ID is this key trigger right here. And then it's going to have a source equal to its URL. So we're going to do clip.url. And it's also going to have a class name on it equal to clip. Now it won't play right away because we don't have an on-click handler. And also I want to label these buttons, and we'll do that with just clip.keyTrigger, which will grab the letter. So save that, and we should get the letters. Yep. Now we have to do our on-click handler. So we'll put an on-click handler on this div, and we need it to play our sound when we click it. So I'll make a function called play sound. And then inside this pad function then, or this pad component, we'll have our play sound function equaling an arrow function, which is the same as a function, except I like them more. And then we have to grab this audio tag and make it play. So we're gonna have a variable called audio tag, and it's gonna equal document.getElementById, and we're gonna grab that clip. We're gonna grab that audio. So what ID is it? It has clip.keyTrigger. So we're gonna put the same thing up here, clip.keyTrigger. So now that we have that audio tag, we can do audio tag.currentTime equaling 0. We can set it to play. So audio tag.play by doing that. And I think that's all we kind of need. So save that, and it should play. Yep. So now when I click these, it plays the sound. So that's working fantastic. Now we don't want to just do this. We want to be able to like click the actual keys on the keyboard and make it do sound. Right now I'm not handling that at all. We're only doing the on click. So how do we handle the key press? Well, we're going to be using a use effect hook for that to add the event listeners in. So to make this work, we'll go into our pad component, give us some space, and we'll do react.useEffect. And this will run right as the component mounts. It's basically replacement for all of our lifecycle methods. And the dependency array down here, basically if you have it empty, it'll just run once and only once. But if we like depended on the clip, then it'd be whenever the clip changes, then run this use effect again. But for this, we just want it to be empty. And then what we want to do is we want to do document.getElement, or not getElementById, but rather add event listener. And we're going to add a key down event listener that will do our handle key press function, which we didn't make yet, but we will soon. And then the return statement off of a use effect is the cleanup function. So I'll do a cleanup function here, which will remove our event listener. So I'll just copy this down here, and instead of add event listener, just do remove. And now we want to make this handle key press function. So we'll just go under here and do const handle key press equals an arrow function. It also takes in an event parameter because this is a event. So once we press the key down, it'll pick that up and throw in a event parameter. And then all we want to do here is we want to check if e.keyCode equals our clip.keyCode. So if the event keycode equals this keycode, then we want to play that clip. So we'll just do play sound and save that. And now I should be able to press Q and it should play that sound. If I click into the browser, yep. So I'm pressing Q and it's playing that sound. And I can click on it too and it plays it. Now I want to add some visual aspect to this where when I click it, it like lights up. And to do that, we need a active state and a non-active state. So we'll just do const active, set active, and by default it will be false. So we'll do react.useState and set it to false for default. But then in this play sound function, we want to set our active to true, and then we also want to have a set timeout. Well, here, I'll show you what happens when we do it now. Oh yeah, it doesn't do anything because we didn't set it for anything. Right now active is unused. But what we want to do is we want to go into our class names on this div and change them up a little bit. So first we'll get rid of these quotes and instead put it in brackets and backticks. So backticks allow string interpolation, which is where we can go $bracket, and then now we can do JavaScript in here. And we just want to check if active is true. Then we want to add the button warning class. And the second class will take precedence over the first class. So instead of being gray now, it will be yellow. So let's try this out, save it, and when I click on it, it turns yellow, but it doesn't go away. I just want it to blink yellow and then turn off. So to make that happen, we need a set timeout in here. So we'll go set timeout equals a function, and the second parameter is the time delay. In this case, I just want it to be 200 milliseconds, and we want to set active to false. So save that, and now when I click it, it'll just blink yellow and then go away. So that's working great. Next up, I kind of want a volume slider, so we can turn the volume lower or higher. So to do this, we'll go back into our app component, and underneath our audio clips, we'll first do a break. So this will break the line, and then we'll have an H4 of volume. And then underneath our H4, we'll put an input, and its type is going to be range. Very important that it's range. And then it's gonna have a step equal to 0.01, going to have a value equal to our volume variable that we didn't make yet. It's going to have a max equal to 1 and a min equal to 0, which would be mute. And then it's also going to have a class name equal to width of 50%. So this is a Bootstrap class, which is width of 50%. Save that, we should get our range, and it's not showing up because volume is undefined and it's trying to find it. So we'll quick define that up here. Const volume, set volume equals react.useState, and we'll set it to 1 by default. So there we go, here's our volume slider set to 1, but I can't change it, and that's because we need a onChange event handler on this input. So we'll go onChange equals, and it takes a event parameter called e, and we'll just set our volume to e.target.value, and make sure volume is spelled correctly. And there we go. Now I should be able to change this. Yep, cool. But right now it's not really doing anything, it's just here. Now we actually want to use this variable to change our volume on our sound. So how are we going to do that? Well, first we want to pass it into our audio, or to our pad. So we'll pass it in by doing volume equaling our volume, and now we can access it in the props. So grab volume up here, and then inside of play sound, we can set the audio tag .volume equal to our volume that we just passed in. So save that, and right now it's loud, but I can make it quiet. So that's a lot quieter. I can make it mute, and now you can't hear it at all. And we'll do loud again. So there we go. Now we have a volume slider. Next thing I want to do is have it be able to list all of the buttons that we pressed, and then be able to play it or reset it, and then also have like a speed slider at the bottom. So this is kind of just a fun aspect that I wanted to add into this. So to get started with this, we want to have a piece of state called recording. So const recording, set recording equals react.useState, and it's going to be an empty string by default. And then we want to pass in this set recording to our pad. So we'll go down here and do set recording equals set recording. So here we're passing a function down to our child component of pad. So we have to grab it right here, set recording. And then what we can do is in our play sound function, so this one, we can actually set it. So we'll do set recording, and we'll take the previous recording, and we will do previous plus our clip.keyTrigger. So that's going to be a letter, and then plus a space. So I'll save that. And right now it doesn't do anything because we're not displaying it anywhere. But what we want to do is underneath our input, we want to do an H3, and we'll do recording in JavaScript. So that's actually taking our variable, and now it's displaying it as an H3. So now when I click these, there's our recording. That's what we've been doing, ZXC. And then I want to be able to play it or clear it. And to do that, we want to check if there's a recording first. If that's true, then we want to display our buttons. So we'll do two buttons. We'll go button success, and we'll do two of these. The first one will say play, and the second one will say clear. Save that quick. And now when I click on this, then they're both green though. and I want the clear one to be red. So instead of success for that one, we'll do danger and click, and there it is as red. Now we want to add in some on-click handlers to these buttons. So we'll go on-click equals a function called play recording. And then also for this clear function, we'll just do on-click and we will set our recording back to an empty string. So we'll go set recording after we do an arrow function in here, set recording back to an empty string. So there I can and it's not working because play recording isn't defined. So I'll define that up here. Const play recording equals an arrow function, open it up, save it. And now when I click these and then clear, it clears away. But we also want to actually play our recording. And for this function, we are going to have to set an interval to like play it every like 300 milliseconds or so, like play the next note. So to do that, we will have our interval equal to set interval, which is a regular JavaScript function that we have access to. And it takes a callback function or a function as its first parameter, and it takes the time of the interval as a second parameter. So in this case, we'll set it as 300 for now. And then in this interval function, we want to do const, and we kind of just want to do the same thing that we did down in the pad for play sound. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this up there. I'll put it into this interval function, and right now we don't have access to clip, but we do have access to our record array or our recording. So what we want to do is before this interval, we want to have a let our record array equal to our recording dot split, and we'll split at every space. And then for this audio tag, it'll be document.getElementById, and it'll be our record array, and it will be an index of that, although we don't have that index right now, and also we don't need key trigger because it's already a letter. So we'll define index up here, let index equal 0 for now, and every time this interval runs, we want to increase our index by 1 with index ++, and we also don't really need this stuff, although it would be cool if it lit up the buttons as it played, but I didn't feel like doing that. And we also don't need this, and save that. And let's see if it works. Play it, and it looks like it works. Except I'm pretty sure that it's still going right now because we didn't clear our interval. So to clear it, all we have to do is clear interval and then our interval, but I want to wait to clear it. So to wait to clear it, we do set timeout first, and we'll open that up, and it takes an arrow function or a callback function. And we just want to clear our interval, clear that interval, so the one that we defined, and we want to do it after 300 milliseconds times our record array dot length -1. So it's just going to make sure that it has the right amount of time. So there we go, we have our recording that we can play. So that's kind of cool. Now I want to add like a speed slider, so we can adjust the speed that it plays at. It's kind of cool. So to add this in, first we need another piece of state up here. We'll do const speed, and set speed equals react.useState, and this one will start at 0.5. Save that, and then we'll go down to where it says recording, have these two buttons here, and inside of this we'll do another input. So I'll just copy this range input here because we're going to do another range input. Whoops. Do Command Z to undo. Command copy and paste. This one will be a type of range. Step of 0.01 again. The on change will be set our speed, and then we'll have a max of 1.2, and we'll have a min of 0.1, because if it's 0, then they'll just all play at the same time. So yeah, this is looking good now. Let's see what that looks like. So there's our slider. I also kind of want to put a break in there, so I'll just do BR, save that, and now there's a break, so it's underneath. And also I kind of want to label it too. So we'll go H4 and call it speed, save that. So now it has speed. Right now it's not really doing anything, but we can change that by tying it to our interval. So right now it's set at 300, but we can change that with our speed now. So we can do speed times our 300, or in this case I kind of want to just do 600 because it's set at 0.5, so now it'll be 300 again. And then our clear interval we also want to change to multiply by speed as well. Save that, and now we can click a bunch of these and then play it. Did it play all of them? No, I feel like I did something wrong here. Oh, I need to do times 600, not 300 here. So it was clearing the interval before it was done. That's why I didn't play them all. So now we'll try again. And play it. And we can make it faster by adjusting the speed. And we can make it longer. Yeah, pretty neat. And I think that's all I have. This is what I came up with for our drum machine. So a little bit different than what they did, because what they did was they had this like power slider as well, and it would say what you clicked, and it also had the volume slider, which I have, and you can like switch the bank, so it's like a different set of sounds. I don't know, I just kind of liked the recording feature that I came up with. I think it's pretty neat. You can play it and we can clear it and adjust the speed on it. And then of course we can like have our own key bindings by changing these key codes and key triggers. And then you can have like your own sounds if you can find better sounds than these ones. So yeah, just to recap, we set up our React with these CDNs of Babel, React DOM, and React. We set up Bootstrap with this CDN of Bootstrap version 4.5.2. And then we did type of text Babel and linked it to our index.js file. And then we selected our audio clips from that project that FreeCodeCamp has. We built our app component and we mapped through our audio clips for each pad, which are these things, these buttons right here. And then we made it so that when we click them, or if we press the button of the key, then it will actually play the sound. And then we made a volume slider with this range input. We set it to the volume and we passed that into our pad, and the pad took the volume and it did audio take that volume equals that volume. And then we were able to do recordings by doing recording and set recording, and by keeping track of it in our pad. So whenever we'd click a button, then it would do the previous recording plus that letter plus a space. So then we'd get a list like this. And then we were able to play it by doing a set interval when we click that button, and by looping through the different letters and then playing that specific audio take. And then we adjusted the speed with another range slider and then multiplied it by our constant of 600 milliseconds. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video of how to build this drum machine. Next up, we're going to build a JavaScript calculator. So that should be a lot of fun. I think the way they did it was pretty complicated, and I will try and simplify it as much as possible. But yeah, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you learned a lot. I definitely did. Learned a lot about the audio tag right here, this audio HTML tag. If you have questions about it, comment below. If you're having trouble, comment, and give the video a like if you liked it. And I will see you next time. Bye.